Is Antarctica on your travel to-do list for this year or next? Today we're reviewing 3 of the most popular expedition cruise lines that visit this amazing continent. Welcome to RTE-Travel Talk, Ask a Real Travel Expert, the show that talks to travel professionals around the world. And today I'm delighted to welcome our very special guest, Nanci of Tinker Travel. One of Nanci's specialties is helping travelers plan their dream adventure to Antarctica. If you enjoy the journey with us today, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss an episode. And if this video's got you inspired, give it a thumbs up or drop a comment and join the conversation. It really helps the channel out. Thanks for being part of our travel community, whether you're a longtime fan or just dropping by. We really appreciate it. And now, on with the show. Hi, Nanci. Welcome to RTE Travel Talk.
Hi, Ken. How are you?
I'm wonderful. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about Nanci because we're going to spend a little time talking today about one of the most often asked about destinations that we see on the channel of late, and that's Antarctica. Now, I understand you're a specialist in Antarctica, so I thought today we could answer some frequently asked questions that our viewers have come up with, and perhaps take a look at 3 of the popular expedition cruise lines that go to Antarctica. How does that sound?
Perfect.
Perfect. So why don't we get started with some first-time traveler questions, Nanci? Like, for example, one of the things that a lot of people ask right out of the gate is it safe to cruise in Antarctica?
It is, absolutely. The captains sail all the time.
Right.
They love Antarctica just as much as the travelers do. Everybody is so excited, even the expedition people that are highly trained and hold many degrees in Antarctica, the history, the marine biology, the penguin studies, and along with strict international safety protocols, you can relax and just enjoy the adventure.
So it's really not something that you need to be worried about.
Not at all. No, everyone is very skilled in Antarctica, and it's amazing how many times people have been there and sailed the Drake.
Is it something, Nanci, that people will do over and over? Or is it more of a one and done?
It is a bucket list. Yeah. It is a one and done kind of thing, but I've done it twice, yeah. And boy, I'd go back in a heartbeat. It's amazing. The creatures just don't even care that you're there.
Yeah.
And they just let you walk right up to them. It's magical.
Yeah, no,
it changes you.
I've heard that. So another big one that we have on the list is, how cold is it really?
You know, it's funny. It's not that cold. It's pretty comfortable. Antarctica is a dry cold, not a damp cold. You'd think with all the icebergs and all the water around it, it'd be a very damp cold. But it's not. It's a dry cold. So you definitely want to wear your parka and your waterproof pants when you're on the Zodiac in case you get splashed. But then once you get off the Zodiac and you're walking around looking at the penguins, you kind of take off that parka and maybe just wear your base layer. Because there's 18 to 24 hours of sunlight, it really is pleasant. You just tie that parka around your waist and you walk around and you just experience everything. Although on board, it's very pleasant. So don't pack bulky sweaters, maybe just a sweatshirt, but wear a light vest. But it is very pleasant on board and you won't need anything.
Now, you mentioned the parka. I understand that a lot of these cruise lines will actually supply you with a parka. Am I right about that?
They do. Almost all cruise lines supply you with a parka, and it has a nice inner lining in it as well. So you kind of take off one layer and you still have another layer. Right. But do take a jacket because the pier in Ushuaia is a bit windy because it is a working pier.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, good advice. And with 18 to 24 hours of daylight, I would expect that on a day with not a lot of wind and the sun shining like that, it could be actually quite nice.
It is. Yeah. Even though it says it's 32 degrees outside, it feels more like it's in the 50s.
Right on. Now, one thing that we hear a lot about, and if there's anything negative out there, is people get weirded about crossing the Drake Passage. You know, are they going to get seasick? Is it going to be rough? Back to the same thing again. Is it really safe? You know, tell us a little bit about that.
So modern ships all come with stabilizers that are equipped to adjust to the current automatically. Yeah. So it's people doing it and it's automatic. So there's 2 sets of stabilizers constantly working.
Right.
And it really isn't that bad. If you still feel uneasy, there are tips and tricks and medication. On my first crossing, the worst thing that happened was my Kahlua fell off my countertop.
Well, that's not such a bad thing.
No, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, and I gather there's also options that you can, with some particular cruise lines, you can actually fly over the Drake.
There are many options. Yeah. So you can fly both ways. or you can fly one way and sail the other, vice versa, or you can sail both ways. When you're going to Antarctica, you want to think of the time you want to spend in Antarctica versus the time on the Drake. So if you're going on an 11-day cruise, it takes 2 days to get there and 2 days to get home. That's the average if the wind's against you. So you want to have that full 2 days. So then you're only on land for 6 days, which really isn't a lot when it's an 11-day cruise.
Okay, so really then, if you want to extend the experience, flying over the Drake is probably a very good option.
It is a very good option, but it is a little bit pricier.
No, for sure. Yeah. I would tend to think that either version of this is not an inexpensive cruise.
It is not, because there's only 200 people on board. If you have any more than 200 people, you cannot get off the ship. So you want to get off the ship, even in Zodiacs or on landings. That's the whole magic of it.
Well, exactly. And it's tightly regulated for that reason, because they want to protect the environment down there and keep it so more people can enjoy it.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, for sure.
There is a 4-hour window that is a typical window for ships to park. And so if you have a ship with 200 people on it, only 100 people can be on land at a time. So you take shifts, but you still get to spend an hour to an hour and a half on land with the penguins each time.
On that note, with penguins, that's probably my last frequently asked question that I hear a lot about is, just exactly what kind of wildlife can you expect to see besides penguins?
Well, there's seals, there's albatross, there's all kinds of seabirds. But the range of penguins are extraordinary.
Really?
There's chinstrap, there's rockhopper, there's Adelaide, there's the king penguins. It depends where you go, but you don't see the same penguin twice.
Yeah. Wow. And they have no fear of humans.
And they don't. It's awesome.
It'd be fascinating.
So the magic of Antarctica is that penguins are everywhere. It depends on the season. To begin the season is November and December. That's when the eggs are there and the baby chicks are hatching. Then in late December and early January, the colonies are full of fluffy babies that are being fed by their parents. And again, they let you walk right up between 5 feet of them. And then February and March, those chicks turn into hilarious teenagers with mohawks, because they molt from their feet to their head. And they end up with just this fuzzy top at the very end. They're hilarious. But the best part of the penguins, they don't fear us.
What about, is there an opportunity to see whales and the like?
Oh, there is. In late February and early March, it's whale season.
Okay.
That's when they call it the whale highway. Another time when I was there, the captain just sat and did 360s and spun the ship in one area for an hour, so we could all see the whales in every angle. And I happened to be up in the hot tub at that point. It was so cool I got all pruny. It was so cool to wait and to watch all the whales from the hot tub up on the third deck and just see them all interact and feed. And then, of course, there's albatross and birds flying around all the time.
Hot tubbing in Antarctica. Who knew?
Oh my gosh. And what a background.
I bet.
What a picture.
I bet. It sounds amazing. Quick pause, folks. Don't worry. I'm not long-winded. I just want to share our brand new channel memberships. For just $1.99 and up a month, you'll get fun perks like badges, early video access, travel webinars, and even travel opportunities with some of our experts. It's a great way to be part of our travel community while getting a little extra along the way. Just hit the join button below for more details. And now, back to our show. So Nanci, these expeditions, what can a person expect on a day-to-day basis?
It's actually really busy. First you get up, you have breakfast, of course.
Yeah.
Then you get ready to go. You have to put on all your winter stuff and get all bundled up. And you go out for an hour to 3 hours, depending on what cruise line. Then you come back and have lunch. Then there's a lecture of what you're going to see or what you've already seen that day.
Right.
Then you get all bundled up again, go out on a Zodiac adventure, or you go on another landing.
Right.
Then about an hour before dinner, there's a briefing telling you where you've been in Antarctica, how far you are from the South Pole, what you might see tomorrow, what you have seen, and also plan A, B, and C, which is also what you're going to do tomorrow. It's captain's choice and weather permitting. So you never know what it is, but the expedition team always has backups for you to do. So there's always something. Then you go to dinner.
Amazing. So it sounds like it's really a full day.
It is. And then maybe there's a lecture or a movie after that. Personally, I was tired. I just went to bed. It's a full day.
I hear that a lot. Like, I can ask you about the onboard entertainment and that sort of things, but from what I hear, most people, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, most people, after they've had a full day, are happy just to relax for a little bit and then hit the sack.
Indeed, because you're going to go and do the same thing again tomorrow, and you don't want to miss any of the adventures. That's why you're there.
Exactly. So let's shift gears, Nanci. Let's talk about comparing some of the cruise lines. Now, 3 of the popular choices that we see quite a lot of are Seabourn, Atlas Ocean Voyages, and Aurora Expeditions. So starting with Seabourn, what's their style?
Seabourn delivers an ultra-luxury, spacious suites. They actually have a warming closet that you can hang your parka and your mittens in every time you come in. Okay. Very cool. World-class dining, spa services, and they're paired with an expedition team that is just outstanding. They go out with Zodiac experts, many advanced polar science backgrounds. Their ships only hold about 200 people, so it's intimate but still indulgent. I spent 21 days on Seabourn in Antarctica, and honestly, I didn't want to leave.
I would imagine. Wow. How about Atlas Ocean Voyages? They're kind of the new kid on the block.
Atlas is the new kid. They've been around for 5 or 6 years, and they're more boutique, modern luxury, stylish, social, and a little bit more approachable on price.
Are they?
They are, because they're the new kids on the block. They have a youthful energy on board that makes it easy to meet people. They carry about 198 guests, so about the same as Seabourn. So it's still very personal. I sailed on them for 11 days in Antarctica, and I love the expedition team and their energy.
What about the onboard atmosphere? Like you sailed personally on both those lines. What was the onboard atmosphere like? Is it, like we said earlier, it's not an inexpensive vacation. Is it kind of stuffy or refined, or is it casual?
It's very casual. No dress-up nights. Everybody's in jeans and t-shirts. It is a little bit more, people are more explorative. So they're more social, and they're all over the world. And age ranges, boy, I have seen a mother, a granddaughter, a mother, and a grandma all do the polar plunge.
Oh, wow.
And they all held hands. It was fantastic. So generations go. I would say the average age is between 45 and 70.
Right.
I mean, because you have to be active slightly, and you're just adventurous. So everybody's talking, and the crew are so excited. They get excited when they see something new, and they go running around the ship, knocking on doors, and they just get excited like it's their first time there.
So it's really very immersive. And then, everybody, crew and guests, everybody's just into it.
Everybody's into it, and everybody becomes friends by the end.
Exactly. Well, on that size of a ship, I would tend to think at the end of the day, you're going to spend a little time relating. Everybody gets together and relates your experiences. Would that be right?
Oh, yes. Yes. In the expedition, when they have lectures, education about the history, the whaling, the penguins, who you're going to see the next day, what their history is, then it's also another time for questions and answers, and you learn from each other.
Excellent. So what about Aurora Expeditions? What makes them a standout?
So Aurora is a true expedition. It has between 90 and 120 guests, which means in Antarctica, everyone can go ashore at the same time. There's no waiting around, no rotating groups, so you get the maximum time on land and in the Zodiacs. It is a true expedition. So
when you say it's a true expedition, what would the difference be between Aurora, for example, and Seabourn? What differentiates them?
The difference is size. One has 200 people, so you take rotating groups. The other has only 120 people, so all 100 can get off at the same time. Also, the difference of Aurora is the ship's design. It has an X-bow hull, which cuts through the water and the waves without slamming into them. It's quieter, more efficient, and burns less fuel. So when you're traveling, you're going a little bit gentler on the environment. The inside of between Seabourn and Aurora are pretty similar. Aurora is more of a expedition. They're not into fancy cabins. They're into what's outside.
Right. So whereas Seabourn and Atlas may be a little bit more higher end and more of the luxury feel that you would find on some luxury cruise ships. Aurora is
Exactly.
going to be more of your classic, like you might have recall from seeing Jacques Cousteau back in the day. Maybe not quite that rough, but
Right. Definitely not that rough. And really good food.
yeah,
And their expedition team is great
yeah,
too.
yeah.
I've just spent a week in the Arctic on Aurora
Did
in
you?
July of
Yeah,
this year. And honestly, it was one of the best times I've ever had because of the small
yeah.
groups. It is much more
Yeah.
intimate.
Now, you mentioned the groups going ashore between 90 and 120 for Aurora and 200 guests. As you mentioned, because of the restrictions there's only so many people can go ashore at one time, right?
Correct.
Right,
There is a hard, fast rule of only 100 people on land.
right.
Because of the stomping of your feet,
Yeah.
it can interrupt the hatching and the growth of the
Okay.
penguins.
Okay.
That is why it's a hard, fast rule. So with Seabourn and Atlas, there needs to take shifts.
Right.
So 100 people go off and 100 people come, they get everybody back, and then they swap them.
Right. Right. So that then explains why with Aurora, you're going to get more time on shore because everybody gets off at once and you get to spend more time as opposed to Atlas and
Yes.
Seabourn.
And it's funny that until I sailed on Aurora, I didn't understand. They have two doors
Right.
that Zodiacs come out to. So when you're standing in the mudroom and you're all in gear
Mm-hmm.
and you're waiting to get off, it's easier and faster to get off with two doors, and they have two Zodiacs, and you can get off faster, but you also don't get hot while you're waiting to get off the ship.
No, that makes sense because you would be
It's the
on the ship and you're dressed in your parkas and your wetsuits and that sort of thing.
it's the little thing. So it is that true expedition side of it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. So looking at these three, Nanci, who would be the right traveler for each one of these lines? Or is there one?
Oh, there's a right traveler for everybody. So with Seabourn, the best traveler enjoys luxury, fine dining, and a polished onboard atmosphere. But other lines in that genre to consider would be Scenic, Silver Seas, and Ponant.
Okay. What about Atlas?
Atlas is perfect for the adventurer, luxury seeker who wants style and comfort, but enjoys a little bit more social interaction on board with the atmosphere light and the approachable price point.
Right.
When I was on my 21-day on Atlas, I went solo.
Wow.
They bring you together with the captain and you'll have dinner with other solos. So just so you can have, some buddies and some communication. But I came off with some great lifelong friends. This compares to Swan Hellenic and G Adventures higher end programs.
Right on. And how about Aurora?
And Aurora is ideal for the explorer, the photographer, and the wildlife enthusiast, the one who wants the maximum potential hours off the ship. And it's similar to Quark, Lindblad, and National Geographics.
Yeah, it's funny when you were describing Aurora, the first one that came to mind is that's very similar to Lindblad, National Geographic.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Actually, Aurora has less people on board and there is still more time on land.
Fantastic. So it really makes a difference. I would have to think when you're looking at this and you're considering it is probably for most people, you probably agree that it's going to be a one and done. Having
Correct.
the services of an expert travel advisor in your corner to help you with this and pick the proper line is basically essential.
And as well as does it leave from Punta Arenas? Does it leave from Buenos Aires?
Yeah.
What's the charter flight like?
Yeah.
What kind of food's on the charter flight?
Yeah.
What can you expect? On the transfers? Yeah, there's a lot of details to it.
No, for sure. Now, I gather most of these are pretty all-inclusive. Am I right about that?
They are. They have you captured. All the shore excursions are included.
Yeah.
All the wine and beer at lunch and dinner, all that is included. Obviously, the meals. I think the things that aren't included is the gift shop and the spa.
Right. And gratuities are included as well?
Correct.
Right.
On most of them.
Yeah. On most of them. So basically, you're going to know before you go what your total out-of-pocket expenses are pretty close.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Now, one question I have a lot about this particular type of adventure is mobility concerns. Is this something that is good for people with mobility issues, or how would you handle that if you had somebody that came to you?
I would advise that All guests are assisted carefully on and off the Zodiacs.
Mm-hmm.
If you can go down a few steps, you'll be fine on and off the Zodiac, because it's hand over hand that they have you getting on and off the Zodiacs.
Yeah.
Now, once you're on land, you'll lean back and swing your legs over the side of the Zodiac and roll out with the cruise assistance, of course.
Yeah.
And then walking to the colonies, it's usually short, a quarter of a mile or less, but they're definitely not right where you park. But the terrain is gradual and not steep climbs.
Right. So to put a cap on that, if you have mobility issues, first things first, you have a good conversation about your limitations with your travel advisor, and then choose the cruise line accordingly.
Indeed. And even I've just yesterday had someone with Parkinson's coming, and we went through all of the details and picked a cruise line that I know has the excellent safety service, but he's even with Parkinson's.
Yeah. Wow. That says a lot. That's amazing. Now, we talked a lot about the Zodiacs, and that is the main way that you're going to get ashore. There is no other way. They don't pull up to any ports anywhere.
Correct. Yeah. They do not pull up to any ports. Yeah. So there will be a landing and a Zodiac ride. So there's 2 outings every day. Yeah. There's either 2 landings or a landing and a Zodiac ride. And on Zodiac rides, you explore whales that could be really, really close, or they could be far, but they're still amazing, especially at that water level.
Right.
And other penguins, or there's seals, all kinds of stuff. They'll go looking for birds. They'll even go looking for icebergs that are just out in the middle and have a tiny calving so you can see it. The sound is just amazing.
Photographer's dream too.
Oh, indeed. Yeah. And some ships even have photographers on board and they're just photography.
Oh, really? Neat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Several, all the time. It is a photographer's heaven.
Yeah, I would expect. Now, we talked at one point about what's included. Is there anything that really isn't included that can add to this grand adventure?
There is. Mm-hmm. There is stand-up paddleboarding if you wish.
Wow.
There is camping on the ice if you wish, again, weather permitting, so that doesn't always happen. And then there's kayaking. Kayaking is so amazing. You can do it solo or you can do it together. You do put on a whole dry suit, so it is an endeavor to do it. But it's so peaceful, and to hear the ice cracking with no sound, no engines around you. And there could be whales within half a football field away from you. And to see it at that level of the water is just priceless.
It sounds absolutely amazing. It really, really does.
And then, of course, the polar plunge. That's included. And, of course, they get that one in as much as they can because it's amazing. A little chilly, but very fun.
I bet.
It's quick.
I bet. And,
it's very quick.
And it's kind of right. It's kind of a rite of passage if you go there.
It is, indeed. It is. The whole ship lines up and they're all cheering you on and it's great.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. So what do you think is the biggest deciding factor when your guests choose between these 3?
It almost always comes down to priorities. Mm-hmm. If you want indulgence, go with Seabourn.
Yeah.
If you want luxury and approachable price, Atlas is a great fit.
Yeah.
If you want the maximum time exploring and is your top priority, Aurora shines. Once I understand these from my clients, it's pretty clear. Then we just have to work through when they want to go.
Fantastic. Well, Nanci, this has been super. Do you have any final parting advice for those folks that may be considering a Antarctica adventure?
Well, my first advice is do it.
Yeah.
It will change you forever. And it's so magical. Seeing the icebergs is like going to Tahiti. You just can't see that blue.
Wow.
It's beautiful. Only 20% of the icebergs are above the water, and 80% of them are below the water. And when you sail by and you see this iceberg that's as big as the ship is, and you know 80% is under the water, it really does give you that perspective of who we are in the world. And then seeing the penguins so close and they don't fear us is another magical thing. I mean, it just truly changes your heart, changes your spirit, and if you can do it, do it.
It's an amazing experience. Nanci, this has been fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us today. If folks want to reach out to you about a possible Antarctic adventure, how would they do that?
The best way to reach me is by email.
Mm-hmm.
It's Nanci with an I, like ice cream, at tinkertravel.me, or by phone or text. My phone number is 805-202-4258. Or you can even reach me through WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or Instagram.
Fantastic. I will leave that contact information in the description for those folks that may like to reach out. But as always, Nanci, on this particular show, I love to live vicariously through the travels of all the wonderful people I meet. So I have to know what's next on your travel to-do list. Where are you off to next?
Next, I turn 60, and I'm going with my mentor on a Douro River cruise in Portugal, followed by a South African trip. And then in mid 2026, I'm hosting a distinctive discovery cruise on Silver Seas, sailing to Monaco to Barcelona.
Wow, wow. Whereabouts in South Africa are you heading?
I'm going to Cape Town for a summit, and then I'm going to tour for a week with a friend that I actually met on my Seabourn Antarctica trip, that we have become lifelong friends, and I'm going to go visit while I'm there.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that Silver Sea cruise sounds interesting. We'll have to have you back to regale us with your adventures. How does that sound?
Absolutely. I'd love it.
All right, Nanci, with that, I'm just going to wish you safe and happy travels on all your future cruises and destinations. May the wind always be at your back. And maybe, just maybe, someday we'll meet on the Lido deck of one of these fantastic expedition ships.
Nice. Thank you, Ken.
Take care. And that about wraps it up for today, folks. A very special thanks to my guest, Nanci Ott of Tinker Travel. If you'd like to reach out to Nanci, I will leave her contact information in the description. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can simply drop a comment. We always respond, or send an email to questions@realtravelexperts.com. And as always, folks, if you enjoyed this episode, a like, share, subscribe, and a ring of the bell is certainly appreciated and helps other folks just like you to find our channel. And if you're really enjoying the content and want to show a little extra love, we hope you'll think about becoming a channel member. It really helps us to keep on delivering that travel advice, expert interviews, and destination reviews you know and love. So until next time, folks, happy travels.